ASEAN Special Envoy Prak Sokhonn says some members of the bloc have been too hard on Myanmar. The grouping has excluded its military government from high-level meetings in light of violence in Myanmar since its coup last year. Mr. Sokhonn was speaking in an exclusive interview with CNA's Leong in Phnom Penh, his first one-on-one with foreign media since he was appointed. Mr. Sokhonn is also Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister of Cambodia, which is the current ASEAN chair. He spoke on issues including engagement with the shadow National Unity government.
We have heard many voices calling for engagement with the NUG, not only from outside, but also among our colleagues, ASEAN ministers, ASEAN foreign ministers, especially. We have a very vocal voice from our colleague from Malaysia. He has openly stated that he has engaged with the NUG. In my capacity of Special Envoy, I have not only the mandate but the duty to engage with all parties concerned. And that means what it means. We will do whatever our duty calls us to do. But I have to say one thing. I won't take the same approach as my colleague Saifuddin, Foreign Minister Saifuddin. I don't need to shout on the rooftop on what we are doing. You know that negotiation is oftenly about discretion, and most of the time it is done in a very discreet, if not secret manner. Just be aware that we are engaging with all parties concerned within our mandate.
May I then ask you plainly and simply, have you started talking to the NUG?
This is still confidential. And whatever we do, we will, there will be a time, an appropriate time, that we will tell to the public what we have been doing with all those political players.
You've been gearing up for a potential meeting or with State Councillor Aung San Suu Kyi. If you do get a chance to meet her, what issues would you raise with her?
How she sees the way out of the crisis, how her political influence could have a weight on the political process, the political dialogue that would lead to peace and national reconciliation. And I think that national reconciliation is linked closely to the power sharing among Myanmar players, among Myanmar political leaders, and also between the central government and the states all around this central government. So Madam Aung San Suu Kyi definitely is still considered as one of the most important players in Myanmar in the political fields and also for peace and reconciliation.
That patience, there have been, as you said earlier, some countries being more vocal and pressing, of course, for more concrete measures against Myanmar. Do you think ASEAN is too soft on Myanmar? Do you think Cambodia is being too soft on Myanmar?
On the contrary, I would say that some ASEAN country has been too hard against Myanmar. We have principle enshrined in the Charter of ASEAN, the principle of non-interference, the principle of equality. Each ASEAN member state is equal. And that is not the case with the treatment that we have imposed on Myanmar. Myanmar has been asked to downgrade its representation at the All ASEAN meeting until today. And that is not right. Why? Because nothing is said in the Charter. There is no downgrading representation of ASEAN member state. in the Charter. We have to respect the sovereignty of every member state. We cannot interfere into internal affairs of any individual member state. But we did interfere at a certain degree. We downgrade the Myanmar representation at a certain degree. We have turned a blind eye on those principles. The fact that we have decided on the downgrading of representation of Myanmar to that of non-political one does not come from a consensus, but it came from a non-consensus.
I might also highlight that the facts also speak for themselves in regard to violence that is still ongoing. The other side of the opposing equation, villages are burnt, airstrikes, there's also mass killings. What do you say to them?
If we can find a way to reduce violence, but by exercising utmost restraint from all sides, and that explains my hope to see Madame Aung San Suu Kyi playing some role with her principle of nonviolence to persuade the PDF or any armed forces to stop fighting. That would contribute to the ending of the violence. Otherwise, I'm afraid we are going to see continued violence from any side, from both sides.
Can we expect a third visit to Myanmar?
I wish to pay my third visit before the United Nations General Assembly. So if it is possible to do it the second week of September, that would be good. But if not, I have to wait for early October, at least before the coming summit. Summit is November.